Good morning. We're at an exciting moment coming off the Next Steps weekend where we learned that we have the capacity to mount a capital campaign. We celebrate the fellowship's 75th anniversary next Sunday, and we'll all meet the architects on May 31st, right after the all-music service, to kick off our facilities planning effort, which we're calling Building Our Future. As we consider the legacy that we'll leave to those who follow, we want to take a moment to reflect on our past, intentionally honoring and building upon the strong foundation we have here at the fellowship. I'm so pleased to be in conversation this morning with longtime members Donna Hatchett and Angie Vincoli. Let's each share a little bit about who we are and why we're here. Donna?
Okay, am I on? No. Now? Can you hear me now? I'm Donna Hatchett. I've been a member here at the fellowship for a little more than 20 years. And in responding to why we're here, I will just say that I'm here because of all of you. This community is so important to me, and all the work that we believe in and try to accomplish here keeps me coming back and being involved. I've served on the Board of Trustees twice. I've been on more committees and teams than you want to hear about. And I am now serving on the Facilities Planning Task Force in a communications role.
Good morning. I'm Angie Vincoli. I started coming here in 2017, so I have about 10 years experience of the 75 that we're celebrating this year. I have served on the board, including being on the executive committee during the time of COVID. I've also served on the search committee that called Reverend Kayla here. And besides serving on the 75th Planning Committee, I'm also a choir member now, and I'm very much enjoying that experience. Thank you.
Sharon Winters. I'm chairing the Facilities Planning Task Force, and I'm a fairly new member. I look forward to hearing these stories this morning. But I got involved as a way to kind of get into the congregation on the Facilities Planning Task Force, and I have to say it's kind of my affinity group. I love all this work that we're doing together. And I'm really pleased with the momentum we have coming off the stewardship weekend, and then we're celebrating the 75th anniversary, and then at the end of the month, we'll be meeting the architects. And I just am very eager to build on that momentum and build on that energy for our community. So let's start with a little bit about the history. What about the history of our fellowship is grounding for each of you, and what's particularly inspiring?
As I reflect on the fellowship, which started in 1951, I come back to the topic of openness and hospitality and flexibility. I think those are just general cultural values that I have experienced here. And one of the examples that I have of that is the work that we've done on the 75th committee. When we started, one of the easiest benchmarks to look to was, well, what did we do for the 50th? So that could have been a very easy template for us to follow, although there was a lot of work it would have involved. And so we kind of started down that path a little ways. And then as we had feedback from our staff, they helped us remember that 25 years ago is a long time, and a lot has changed. So how can we keep the best of what we did when we celebrated the 50th and bring it forward in time to help meet who we are now? So I think you'll find that we've integrated the 75th anniversary into our existing program structure, our worship services. A lot has gone on with the forum, even more to come there. And then our festival next week, and our service are going to be more casual than perhaps they were in the 50th, but it reflects a learning and an expression of who we are now.
So what's grounding and inspirational for me is the fact that when I moved here from Southern California, which is a completely different culture from North Carolina. So I had to make some big adjustments. And finding this fellowship was critical to helping me do that. I don't think I would have probably survived here without finding this fellowship, and the work that we do in terms of social justice and environmental concerns and all of the principles that we believe in and try to live out make it particularly important for me and the reason that I continue.
So what stories from our past really stand out to you, and why do they stand out?
Well, one of my favorite stories, which I think is pretty accurate, I will preface that by saying one of the concerns that I had about moving here is that my marriage was interracial, and I wasn't quite sure what we might encounter when we got to North Carolina. So the work that was indicative of this fellowship in racial justice was very important to me. And there's a story from the past about the Black Panther Party needing a meeting place. And when they were getting established here in the late 60s, this fellowship offered them a safe meeting place to hold their meetings. And if you look into the history of the fellowship, there's also a record of the core group, the Congress of Racial Equality, having meetings here. So that particular part of history was important to me. And then if you fast forward to about 8-9 years ago, we started to display the Black Lives Matter banner on the front of our building. And as a result of that, we experienced theft of that banner, and then we experienced vandalism of the doors of our fellowship one time. And in response to that, we called for a community meeting. And for those of you who may have been here for that meeting, I think you will remember how inspiring it was to see this room full of people, especially people from the Black community who came here to join us. And we sent such a powerful message at that time. We got news media coverage, community attention to the work that we're doing here. So that's just one story of how we have worked for equality and justice.
Reaching farther back in our history, the story that stands out to me is essentially our origin story, and you've probably heard it told many different ways, but basically the fellowship started from an ad in the newspaper. The thing about that ad, though, is if you really follow its path backward, it came from outside the community. It was an effort from the American Unitarian Association to try to find people with a willingness to help start new fellowships and new gatherings of Unitarian folk. So that ad appeared in the local paper. To respond to it, it required writing back to the association. There was no website, there was no email, no text. You had to write. So 4 or 5 people wrote back. The association helped put those people in touch with each other. And then it expanded to a core group of about 12. We have small groups now in our fellowship that probably have 12 members, right? But the whole organization was about 12 people who came together, similarly minded, to find out more about how they could do good now rather than in the church community that put so much emphasis on the afterlife in the South, right? So they came together, they met in people's homes, or they met at the Y. The part of it that gets compressed, and this stood out to me, is that it took about 10 years for them to be able to move from those impermanent meeting places to a permanent place, which I think people refer to as the house on Robin Hood or something like that. So 10 years is the time that I've been in this fellowship, so I can kind of relate to what a 10-year span is. But there were really loyal, deep-thinking people who established this place for us, and I appreciate that.
What did the ad say?
The advertisement was a series of points. You can see a picture of it. We have posters up now in the library that depict each decade of growth of the fellowship. And you can see a picture of the ad itself. But basically, it called out several tenets or beliefs that if you felt this way, you probably were a Unitarian, you just didn't know it. So take a tour through the library and you can see the ad there. So thank you for that question, Gloria.
So how do each of you see these same values embodied today?
I'm going to pass it back to Donna because I talked a long time.
Well, I think the values that were part of the founding of this fellowship continue today and have grown and expanded. And I think that we, as Patricia Bracono mentioned this morning, we really do try to care for each other. We've tried to expand to serve more and more interests and needs, and I think that's a very important way that we live out our principles. And along with that, we've grown so much in the community. We are in so much more contact with other organizations doing similar work in our community. And I think that speaks very, very well of what we believe in and try to foster.
I'm going to pivot on that question just a bit to what is it that has made us be able to do the things that Donna just described. And I think it's some of the deep work that we did on governance when Reverend Ed Brock was here. In order to be more nimble in the community and to really respond to the needs as they arise and try to cut the red tape, if you will, we examined our governance structure and found a way to really benefit much more from the staff leadership that we could have here, and just made it clearer as to how we could go about our business. And it has allowed us to be more nimble. Examples of that, when Ice Watch needed a place, we were able to respond quickly and supply it. When the trans community needed a meeting place, we were able to accommodate that and welcome them here and continue to welcome them here in a faster way than we probably could have before. And there are numerous other examples. So I'm just grateful for our new governance model that's going to fuel our growth.
Okay, so now looking to the future, how can you imagine us deepening and growing into these values?
I think our diversity, having a more diverse representation and diverse membership really benefits all of us. And it allows us, we're being able to get closer to the need and move into a true servant leadership role in the community than just being like a private club. So that means a lot to me. And some examples of that on our weekly activities, we now have a very active pagan group within our group. You can see their maypole out. We'll be using it next week at the festival. Just one tangible example of that. And then we have the Buddhist group meeting on Thursdays and all the other groups that we've already talked about. So I think through diversity and really deep listening to one another, we live into our mission.
And I'll just expand on that a little bit. We are growing so much, and during the time that I've been here, That's been a regular theme when you ask people what they want for the fellowship. They want us to grow. They want our message to be more prominent in the community. We are a place for people who are looking for some place to share their values, and we can be that place. We just have discovered in a number of times that people don't know we're here, or they don't know about us. So we've done a tremendous amount of work to expand our outreach into the community, and at the same time to serve, as Angie indicated, serve more interest groups here. If you're not aware of that, just try to schedule a meeting room at this fellowship. It's a challenge because there are so many things going on, so many people actively doing things, and we need more room so we can do more. We need better office space for our staff. Angie referenced our governance system, which has given our staff more responsibility, more authority to do things, and they need to have the appropriate workplace to do that. And we need more room, and we need to present that to the community that we're here, we're prepared to grow and serve more people, and we need to have the room and the capacity to do that.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure to talk with both of you and hear these stories. So with our 75th anniversary celebration next Sunday, we have the opportunity to honor and celebrate our fellowship's legacy, the thoughtfulness and the dedication of those who came before us. With our May 31st Meet the Architects event, directly after the all-music service, we'll start talking about building our future. So I'll leave you with a question. How might we adapt our facilities to better meet our mission, to cultivate curious minds, compassionate hearts, and courageous actions, and leave our own legacy for those who follow? So how will you get involved? Thank you.